Within my pro license, I've been asked to analyze Al Rayyan overall performance before the Arab World Cup break. In this analysis, I will be looking at Al Rayyan deficiencies, gaps, or weak links offensively and defensively. In order to do that, I've analyzed the last three games: Al Rayyan Al Gharafa, Al Rayyan Al Arabi, and Al Rayyan Al Siliya. The process of analyzing, I will be looking at gathering informations of Al Rayyan, analyzing the data, specifying the data, finding the patterns offensively and defensively, creating a conclusion or a solution. In this analysis, I've been asked to put a weekly program in order to face the outcome of the analyzing video and correct the mistakes offensively and defensively. So, in order to do that, I'll be implementing a training strategy to counter any issue that might arise from this analysis. First of all, let's have a look at the last 10 games in all competitions. As we can see in the chart that the team in the last 10 games have been drawing, losing and winning and in very inconsistent way, and we will have a look more in the stats. In the QMB League 21-22, their position in the league is in the 8th position with 2 wins, 2 draw, 5 lost. They scored 14 goals, they conceded 22 goals. So this tells you that they can score, but they can still concede more than that. Let's have a look at their starting 11 in the last 3 games. In their starting 11, they've been changing a lot of players. First player to change is the left centre back, the right centre back, left winger, right winger, right midfield, offensive midfield, left midfield, and right midfield. And if you see here in their last 3 games, they didn't change only 2 players: Steven, who's the right midfielder, and Bolly, the striker, and the goalkeeper. Apart from that, the whole team has been changing in the last 3 games. I want to point out in this shape that their weak links are the left centre back and the right midfield, and we will have a look more in the videos. Okay, now let's look at their last 52 real chances conceded categories for the last 3 games. In this real chances conceded, we will see the percentage of the goals coming from a real chance situation and the categories of the real chances. Creating penetrated through depth. They've managed to concede 6 opportunities. Shots outside the box, 9. 1 goal came out of 9. Crosses. They conceded 5 crosses. 1 goal came out from the crosses in the last 3 games. The set pieces. Conceded 9 set pieces, 2 goals from a set piece. So in the last 3 games, 2 goals came from a 9 real chance set pieces. Counterattacks. Counterattacks are 12. So let's have a look at their counterattacks. They've conceded 3 goals from counterattacks from 12 real chance. Long ball inside the box, they've only done 2. And the last one is individual mistakes, risk and man marking. They've conceded 3 goals in 9 real chances. Remember, Al Rayyan in the last 3 games they've conceded 6 goals. Some of them are divided to two categories. So for example, it can be from a set P, and it can be also an individual mistake like such as man marking, and we'll see more in the videos. Things to look at offensively. Aspects to improve. Midfielder mostly dropping to receive the ball behind the lines and not in between. No attacking patterns or strategy of progressing the play forward. Intuition. Intuition only play by feelings. Rarely making runs into space. Mostly relying on the striker. Their game highly relies on the striker. And we'll look at now an illustration about their movements, the whole team movements. This is how they make the first move. As I said, they rarely run to space, they always would like to come to the ball, and then we will have a look more in the videos. This is just an illustration in how they move. In this situation, if the ball goes to the center back, you see the three midfielders coming out of the zone to receive the ball. They like to step out of the pressure and receive the ball. In this situation, we'll see ball with Rayyan. This is versus Al Garafa. The center back has no pressure, and as you can see, the two midfielders are dropping out from the mid third to receive the ball. Striker dropping to receive the ball. We'll see in more situations how they construct the midfield. They construct their playing forward. As you can see, the left winger is coming to the ball instead of making the run to space. At pressure, he cannot play, which they force him to play back. And we'll see him more. So again, as you see, the defensive midfield dropping to receive the ball. Up, no option, trying to go through the middle, lost the ball, and now they get a counter against him. Again, as you can see, Brahimi, the right winger, coming to the ball instead of creating that space for the midfielder. So, as as I said, they always like to come to the ball instead of making runs to space. He receiving the ball, you can see the two midfielders are stepping out from the penetration zones to receive out from the lines. If they could have received the balls in the white circles, they could have penetrated the lines. And as we can see here, the defensive midfield, instead of receiving the ball in between the lines, he likes to step out also and receive behind the lines. Two players asking the ball, sorry. Two players asking the ball in the same line. So we're looking at creating options on the right and the left. As you can see, create option either by coming to the ball or by asking the ball in the same line. And here we'll see again. As you can see, the defensive midfield Steven Nzonzi is dropping to receive the ball, while the ball can be played to the center back. Instead of going and creating an overload in the midfield, if he wants to drop, the center back needs to be opened and the right back needs to be open towards the line. Now there is no use or unnecessary movement from Nzonzi. 4 versus 3, and now Nzonzi, this is where we need him in the middle because there is 4 versus 3 of defensive overload. Maybe he could have gave an option in the middle, or at least when they lose the ball, could have helped with the transition. And we'll see in more situations again Zunzi dropping to receive the ball, and now because there are no options in the middle, so the striker is dropping to find a way to receive the ball. You can see he dropped, they can give him the ball, they ask him to move back. And I look at now the midfielder is going all the way to the left back to receive the ball from him. And we'll see in more videos. As you can see now, the only time they make the run is both players making the same run. James and Bolly. They make the same run to space instead of one going to space and one dropping in the space created by striker. The ball wasn't effective, but you can see the intention of the two players. Now we'll see again. So 5 versus 1 at the back, straight line. The two midfielders could have gave more options offensively, as there are no pressure for the four backs. They can build uh, smoothly the ball. Not giving the options, the striker having to drop deep to link in the play, because the two midfielders are always dropping, which leave the space for the striker to drop, which doesn't help progress in the play in the mid third. Right, we had a look at their offensive strategy, and now we need to build up the weekly training to overcome these uh, uh, or to help these aspects of the game and to improve them. So in between the two games on the conditioning days, on the minus on the plus 3, which is -4, I will be working on progressing position game plus the play through the midfielders. Things to look at defensively. Aspects to improve. Back four not stepping up to squeeze the space between the lines. And we'll have a look at the video. As you can see here, there's a back pass. The line should step up. And you can see they walk in. They don't step up, which leaves a lot of gaps in between the lines. Algarafa did not use it, but you can see the commitments with the movements are not there. Again, a back pass, no, no one is stepping up, which leaves a lot of space. If that pass was accurate to the player, then it could have been dangerous. And here I want to mention something: the connection between the back four and the left back not marking the right winger. And we'll see now in the movement. The left back is not marking, now having to drop, and the player on the ball have two options to play the ball wide. So the connection, the covering, the balance uh, is not happening with the back four. And now, bear in mind, let's look at the left back. Where is he asking? And the players asking behind him. And as we know, in throw-ins there are no offsides, and then he's leaving the player behind him. They didn't play the ball there, but you can see that he's not marking or he's not communicating with the center back. Algarafa have the ball, and here you can see compact defending, 10 players in a very tight zone, and they still get penetrated through the middle. Uh, one pass, 7 players out of the game. They play wide, and look at the left. Uh, the left back overloaded by three players on the second post. If there was a rebound, it could have been very dangerous and a scoring opportunity. Second thing I want to look at is the connection between the back four, as we spoke, the man marking, and now we'll see in this situation. And Zonzi, he's marking the player, and now the player drops. Zuzi doesn't go, but in the moment of the pass and the player is turned, now he needs to put a little bit of pressure and don't give him time to think. Give him enough time, and now the pass wasn't successful, but as you can see, the player have um, two options to create a real chance. Again, the connection between the center back and Zonzi, he's not pressing, and they give enough time for the player to play. And now you can see the center back and Zonzi are arguing about uh, him not having to press, and this can make the players very frustrated. Now, unforced mistakes in the middle uh, create the outcome of it. It's a corner. And now we'll see in the corner. We spoke a lot about man marking. We see one to one now in the corner. There are some who are defending the zone and mostly are man marking. Let's have a look at the right back in this situation. He's marking the player. As soon as the cross is there, he drops in, left a big gap, and then they scored from this situation. So in my weekly program on the -2, I'll be working on man marking and the back organization. On the back four organization. Preventing counterattack. I will speak when they counter, they prevent the counterattack. We'll have a look more in the videos. This is an illustration to just show how they play the ball forward. As you can see, in this situation, the three yellow midfielders are unmarked. So what we need to do is we need to try to get close and cover those players. Now, as you can see in the video, 8 players are in front of the ball, which is a high risk if they would lose the ball. In this situation, they didn't lose it, but as you can see, the spaces that could be explored if the ball is lost. See here, they lost the ball, and now you can see everyone is marked except from the center back. He's given enough space for the player. You start running to the player, but he at certain time he will stop, which gives enough time for the player to turn and lead the counterattack. It wasn't successful, but as you can see, the spaces left uh, behind the lines can be very dangerous. In this situation, Rayyan are building up. Ball goes to the goalkeeper. You can see 3 players free available to receive the ball, and look at the distance between the striker and midline. Not there. In this situation, they play the 1-2 and they play wide, but it was a foul, a free kick for Algarafa. As we can see here, the goalkeeper catch the ball. Look at the distance between Zonzi and the attacker for Algarafa. And the goalkeeper didn't play the ball in this situation, but because they are winning 2-1, so preferably to gain and win a bit of time. Again, lost the ball. Now, in this situation, the closest to the player marked the other player to cover. But we will see in this situation how player made the run, first touch into space, they get lost, James Rodriguez, the player who first pressed stopped, and now it's a real scoring opportunity. The player who started the press is in a circle, and as you can see, the coach is unhappy with missing the counterattack. In the same situation, the player played the go kick, and now they attack. As we will see here, they are getting to the attacking third, but let's look at the defenders are still walking instead of squeezing the space. So in this situation, if they would lose the ball, which will happen in a second, up, ball is lost, and now the center back is suffering, having to run all the way back to defend this counter. And if the defenders and the linebacker of Iran do this sprints 3 or 4 times, they will be physically exhausted in the game. We spoke about preventing the counterattack. In 12 counterattacks, they conceded 3 goals. So during my weekly program, the session that I will be making in a practical will be preventing counterattack, marking, squeezing the space, regaining and delaying the play. But the main topic will be preventing counter on -3. Individual mistakes and taking risks. We'll have a look in the video now. Rayyan again dropping, trying to turn with the ball in the middle, lost it. Uh, no reaction defensively and a real chance against them. Up here, dive in, the referee go back to the VAR and it's a penalty. Unnecessary tackle in the box. And here we'll see again, let's look at the left back. Up in this situation, he's going to tackle. If he was a little bit late, this could have been in the box and it could have been a penalty. And now we'll concentrate more on Ahmed Yasser, the left centre back, playing to the crowdness, lost the ball, and now the outcome of it is a real chance. Again, the left centre back dribbling into the crowdness, lost the ball, and it was not effective, but you can see how he lost the ball. Now going inside, decision making where to play the ball wasn't good, and they lost the ball again. You see unforced mistakes of passing, and now we'll see he missed the ball, and this can tell you that the level of the concentration is very low in this game. The situation again, the timing of the interception wasn't there. He went to the ball, he missed it with the header, as you can see. And from this situation, they will concede a goal again. Dive in, and boom, got penetrated through the side, and there's a goal. In this situation again, for the set pieces, the left centre back is marking the right midfielder for Arabi. He left him by himself, and they scored. So in the same game, made 4 mistakes. 2 of them was a goal, and 2 of them was a real scoring opportunity. As we spoke in the stats, the 9 individual mistakes, the goals, the outcome of the goals is 3. So in the last day, I will work on defending the set pieces. following the -2, which is man marking. As we can see, the recovery day, analyzing our own video, plus the compensation for the players who didn't play on +1. +2 will be a day off rest. Looking at the physical side, it will be recovery of strength, endurance, speed, and SAQ. This is my weekly program to overcome and help Rayyan on the aspects defensively and offensively. The session that I will be making in the practical is starting with 10 versus 0, basically versus the goalkeeper, and 4 mannequins with the coach. Focus on the blue team. Blue team will build and progress the play and finish the attack. Focus on the defensive line to prevent the counterattack. So while we're attacking, can we mark those players? The key points will be staying organized, communication, squeezing the space, regaining the ball if there is a chance, delaying, and if we delay, we're waiting for players to drop, cover, balance, and technical foul if needed as a last option. Second part, 11 versus 11 on the full pitch realistic situation. The focus here, the key focus will be, will my team stay organized and concentrated in a realistic game situation? Can we press and regain the ball, or we have to delay and drop depending on the situation of these two? This will be my session. Moving on the conclusion of this video, I will mention a few things. Is finding the best starting 11 with the qualities that fits together. I think Rayyan, if we look at the videos and the changes that have been made by the coach in the last 3 games of changing their starting 11, changing 7 to 8 players from the starting 11 for the last 3 games, it shows that there is inconsistency and instability in the team. So I'll be looking at qualities that fits in together with the system of play. Talking in general, working more on the back four organization and preventing the counter. Man marking and player responsibilities is very important, as we saw in the video. A lot of enforced mistakes, a lot of miscommunication between the players, and concentration, very important. Uh, to correct, you can play the best game of your life, but to correct some of the mistakes, like the left center back, this needs an individual meeting and the plans and weekly plans with assistant coach or fitness coach to raise the level of the concentration for the center back and the midfielder. This can be also uh, asking the player about asking the player to give their own feedback about their performance, looking at double position, checking their contract, because players with 5 years contract are most of the time feeling comfortable with the squad, uh, apart from the players with 1 year contract, which they have to push more forward to get more chances in the upcoming years. And also, uh, double position is, do we have a double position for those players that can put them a little bit under pressure, because if there is no double position, also the player feel comfortable. This is what was my analysis for Al Rayyan overall performance in the QMB League 21-22 season, and thank you so much.